Alaikum. I'm Zaki Bika and you with us in the lab, empowering, inspiring and informing our viewers. As usual, we have a great topic today, female depression. As women, we have many life roles, mother, wife, employee, friend, healer, caregiver, and that list goes on. The complexity of all these roles can cause ups and downs throughout life. In general, after a few days, your emotions tend to level out and you don't feel down in the dumps anymore. But if you are suffering from depression, your downs don't go away and may interfere with your life, activities, and relationships. This can be debilitating and can occur due to a number of causes. Symptoms may last weeks, months, or even years. With us in studio today is Bibi Hussain, mom of 2 teenagers, a certified life coach and educational specialist coach. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure. So Bibi, tell us a quick run through about the statistics and the difference between male and female depression.
Okay, so depression, there's no real difference between male and female depression. It's a condition which causes one's mind, a state of mind to change, where you feel on such a low and you feel like you don't want to wake up in the morning, you don't want to go out to work, you don't want to go to school, you feel like you're going to fail at anything you try to do. Even if it means going to the shop to buy a loaf of bread, you feel like you just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. And the worst symptom is where you feel like you want to die. You just want to end your life, or you want something to knock you to death. A truck bumped me. That's basically the symptoms. So I would say it's the same for male and female. However, how we display our emotions would differ between male and female, where males generally deal with things internally. I call it an imaginary cave that they go into, where they want to just process everything quietly. Speaking from experience, I've seen it in my husband, where he just wants to sit quiet and go through the emotions and come out when he's ready. Where females tend to, we're very, by nature and design, very emotional, so we tend to...
dramatic.
Dramatic, exactly. Yes. We display our emotions. We want to scream and fight and shout and bang things, and I threw a clock once, okay? So that's basically, I would say, the difference. But in terms of depression as the condition, it would be the same for both.
Okay, so statistically wise, is there a major difference between male and female depression?
I believe so, yes. Females tend to fall into the trap of depression much more than males. I don't have the exact percentages with me, but definitely females experience a higher rate of depression than males.
Okay, so let's talk about female depression. What is the types of depression that can affect a female just on the spur of the moment?
Okay, so in my practice, the common ones I'm seeing lately, I'm going to start with is anxiety, depression linked to anxiety. I've seen children from the age of 8 coming into my practice with symptoms of depression. So anxiety is where they feel so nervous that, like I said earlier, you can't go to school. You feel like you're going to fail at everything. People can't go to work. If there's an interview, they fold. They just can't do it. So it causes so much fear in them. And so basically that's the symptom of anxiety.
Right.
Then another common one I'm seeing is depression linked to social media, so demands from social media and society in general.
That's very important. So now this is where I want to ask something. Like, you see all these things going on social media, and this FOMO where you fear of missing out or whatever. Is that actually a type of depression?
Absolutely. I'm seeing people in numbers with regard to that type of depression. They put so much pressure on themselves because the media is showing us this perfect woman with the perfect skin, perfect body, perfect family. She takes pictures of her food. It's perfectly arranged on the plate. Now, we all know this is overrated.
Yes.
Right? We know that. Those pictures are edited, half of them anyway. She's got... I really see people with flawless skin.
Yes.
But there's so much pressure that you need to conform to these standards.
Okay.
And it's unnecessary, I think. But people fall into this trap so quickly, especially teens, especially our teens. It's a scary, scary situation out there. So that's a serious one that I'm seeing a lot of these days. And then we have the PMS, so premenstrual.
That is really a common form of depression, and it goes way back decades and years and generations, obviously. But before, I know moms never used to call it depression, or what they used to. My mom would normally have say it's the chocolate time where you crave chocolates. Okay, so is it escalating? PMS is PMS escalating?
Yes. I don't think that's ever gone away. PMS is very real. It's happening every day. In fact, personally, I experience it where I feel like I'm going to kill my husband on a certain day. And yes, the chocolates, definitely.
Yes.
I crave chocolates. But it also causes you feelings of fatigue, anxiety. You feel bloated. You feel so ugly. So it's a horrible space to be in. But that is more of a mild case of depression. So luckily it passes.
Okay. What about postpartum depression?
Okay, postpartum also, that's a scary one as well. That's so after a woman gives birth, they tend to, the hormonal changes and shifts cause them a feeling of, what's the word?
Hopelessness.
So unease, unease, hopelessness, almost like they're not a good enough mother to the child. And then you also have the tension between husband and wife because you don't know where to give your attention to.
Yes, absolutely.
So you feel so torn between the two, and it causes this feeling of depression.
Okay.
And if it gets serious and left untreated, you can even harm your baby or yourself. So it's a serious one which needs to be taken care of as soon as it happens. Yes. Yeah.
Bibi, how serious can depression get?
Okay, it can get pretty serious. I have a personal story to tell. When I was just 16 years old, my brother-in-law and sister had a fight. Now, let me take you a little back. My brother-in-law and I were absolutely close. He was an amazing man, absolutely amazing man. The closest who could ever come to my father was this brother-in-law of mine. Anyway, they had a disagreement, and as people do, families got involved, and things were said, things were done. Everything was finished, patched up. Him and my sister were fine, but I chose to still be angry at him because I felt the hurt was too much. I couldn't get over it, and I was just 16, so I was going through my own issues, my own hormones.
Yes.
So I chose not to forgive this man, and 2 weeks passed, and it happened to be his second wedding anniversary to my sister. And I thought, okay, this is the day. It's a happy occasion. I'm going to bake a heart-shaped chocolate cake, his favorite cake. I bought him a t-shirt from Truett's, his favorite brand, T-Man. And I said he's going to come home today. I'm going to accept his apology. By the way, he did ask for forgiveness, and I said no. So I said I'm going to accept his apology, and I'm going to apologize, and everything's going to be fine, and we're going to be good again. And 2 o'clock that day, 14th of July, I'll never forget, my phone rings, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was never going to get the opportunity to accept his forgiveness or ask him for forgiveness because he met with an accident and he passed away. And sure, I actually go cold thinking about it. It was a sad day.
Okay.
Immediately, I fell into a deep, dark depression, and it was so severe. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to get in a car. I didn't want to study. I just didn't want to do anything. I felt useless. I hated myself, and hate is a strong emotion. I hated looking in the mirror. And so I started depending on sleeping pills just to get through. I gained weight even though I wasn't eating.
Is that at that young age of 16?
Yes. But this is now a doctor who prescribed the pills for me, and I became so dependent that I found ways to get these pills, side roads, and it's so easy to get these things. It's scary. So I found these pills, and I lived off those pills for 2 years, and it was a Schedule 5 drug. So it was really scary, actually. But I was okay. It helped me cope. Well, I was never okay, but it just helped me get through the day. But I'd wake up the next day and feel exactly the same. So, and then one day I just woke up, I looked in the mirror, and what looked back at me scared the life out of me. My eyes were dark, my skin looked terrible. I didn't comb my hair, I didn't feel like dressing. And even though my family was trying to support me as best they could, they saw what I didn't see for the 2 years. And that's the day I said no. Enough. I don't like what's looking back at me. Today's the day I make a change. I'm not this person, and I decided to be grateful. I decided firstly to forgive myself for not accepting my brother-in-law's apology, and I chose to forgive. I even blamed our Creator, and I said, I don't love you. I don't want to pray anymore because you took this guy from me without me making up with him. So no. But I chose that day I'm going to forgive everybody. And I said I'm going to be grateful because even though you took him from me, he left behind a 6-month-old boy who happened to live with me up to last year. And he left behind my sister who needed me. And I decided I'm not going to be selfish anymore, and I'm going to become selfless and support her instead. So that's the day I said no more pills. I went cold turkey, stopped the pills, and made a change. And yeah, that's basically my story. So it can get very serious, and you need to recognize the signs as soon as they happen.
Okay, from what you're saying, is depression a selfish, self-inflicted syndrome, or is it a chemical imbalance in your brain, or how is it?
So there's different types. You get the mild, moderate, severe. Definitely, if there's a chemical imbalance, I won't say it's selfish. It's never selfish. Our emotions, we are in control of them, but they come. It's like weeds, they grow. We need to decide if we're going to weed and pull them out or keep them there. So I won't say it's selfish, but okay, so if it's chemically caused and an imbalance in your brain, then definitely you would need to look for help and take medication and all of that. But we are in control of our thoughts. We definitely can decide what we feed our brain.
Yes.
So if people say that it's easier said than done, yes, I agree, but it's possible. Even impossible says I'm possible, so it's possible. So yes.
When you're going through this, you've been through, whether it was mild or moderate or severe, you've been through this depression. When is it time for a person to seek help?
Okay.
For you as an individual, or for your parents to realize that, or for your support system to realize?
Okay, so the symptoms I mentioned earlier, like the loss of appetite, the feelings, especially the suicidal thoughts, the serious ones, those symptoms I mentioned, if you experience 5 or more of them for a period of 2 weeks or more, and it must be more than 50% of your day that you're feeling these feelings, that's the time you seek help. That's the time your family should identify and say, okay, we need to take this person somewhere. And I would start with a doctor, let them do some tests, your GP, just to rule out any medical conditions, because that can also cause depression symptoms, like thyroid, which I also have, by the way, and bipolar is a condition which can cause these symptoms. So start with your GP, let them do the necessary tests and rule out medical conditions. Then there's also a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist will give you medication, which will then help if there's an imbalance in the brain, which now the GP's tests will determine. Psychologists, you can go, they use other forms of therapy. Then you can also seek, there's cheaper ways as well, like life coaches. They're easier, it's easier and faster. They use different techniques. None are wrong. There's no wrong form of treatment. You can choose whichever one works for you.
Yes, custom made for an individual.
Exactly. So life coaching, I work on more future oriented. They help you set goals, work with you on your action steps and drive you forward. Right? So that's also another way to get help. And it's a cheaper way as well. But there's also the self-help, which involve dieting. Eat good foods, drink lots of water, exercise,
sleep enough.
Absolutely, sleep deprivation.
So be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, my mother used to say this to us as kids. She said, your body is a gift to you from Allah. So look after that gift. It's so precious. And there's only one of you. There's no 2 people like you. It's a gift to you. Honor it, cherish it, respect it. Give it the best there is. So it's, absolutely. So that's basically the forms of treatment available. In fact, I must say, important one, there's a lot of free forums around online and also in our community. So I know of a lady who's giving a free every Tuesday free services. So if you feel like you're scared or you don't have the money, please look for these forms of treatment. Yes,
obviously. I mean, and help a support system around you, friends and family. They make a very big difference. But in the same way, your support system could do more harm than good.
Absolutely. You need to be smart in identifying which one's helping and which one's not. So, so that's
Bibi, your final words to motivate females especially that's going through or have been through depression, whether it's mild, moderate or severe. What is your final words to them?
Okay, so firstly, never be afraid to ask for help. There's always help available, right? And there's something I do, which if you're feeling these symptoms and you want to try to help yourself, when you wake up in the morning, Just say it loud. Say, I am grateful. I am grateful, and today is going to be a good day. It's something I do as well. What that does to your brain is it clears out all the nonsense from there, because our subconscious doesn't understand lies. It takes everything you tell it as the truth. So when you tell your brain, I am grateful, today is going to be a good day, it will look for ways to make it a good day. It will look for ways to take out all the negative thoughts from your brain. Okay, and the second piece of advice is you get to choose. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your spouse. So don't marry your depression. Chuck it out the door. Okay, and live a happy, free life. Make the choice today. And lastly, there's a quote by Henry Ford that I absolutely love. So Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or you can't, you are always right. And that's so powerful. I live by that. So you choose what you put into your mind. Make it a positive one. Thank you. Peace to everyone.
Thank you so much, Bibi, for that. That's a good one. Don't marry your depression. I love that. Thank you so much for joining us. And we really appreciate, and I'm sure the viewers are also going to appreciate all your input. And once again, thank you for your wise words and hope to see you soon.
It was my pleasure. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Well then, it's a wrap. I end today's episode with something very deep. Depression makes you feel like you want to disappear. But in fact, all you truly want is to be found. Catch us next week for another great episode. Assalamu alaikum.